You see, when people tag me to videos, I rarely bring my own disposition or actually bring my contributions to those videos. However, there is a video that someone tagged me recently, and I saw most of my guys also sharing the videos, and I would like to lend my voice concerning what was trending about the video. Just watch the video for the next few seconds.
They don't have the book of Enoch in the Bible. It's taken out. The Gospel of Thomas is taken out. Gospel of Barnabas, out. And not
The only issue I have with this person presently is lack of understanding on what canon means. You see, this canon is not a strange language or a strange parlance. It only means what scripture should be in the Bible and which one should not. And the canonization of the Old Testament was already done by Ezra and Nehemiah 400 years before the coming of Christ at all. Even Jesus quoted from the Old Testament. The apostles quoted from the Old Testament. And you see, when he was mentioning the book of Enoch, you would know that, well, he actually lacks understanding of what the canon means, because there are certain reasons why the book of Enoch was never canonized as part of the scripture. And 5 reasons why the book of Enoch was never canonized as part of the scripture. One is because there is no major source that gave us hint to know if Enoch actually wrote that part of the scripture. The only place where something as regarding the book of Enoch was mentioned was in the book of Jude. When Jude was writing his epistles, he said in the prophecy of Enoch, and look at how Jude placed it. He never mentioned the book of Enoch. He said in the prophecy of Enoch. And the prophecy of Enoch was only passed as oral tradition. It passed as legend, the way many people will call it today. So it was not something that was assumed to have been written down. Then the third point is the Jews and the early Christian never believed that Enoch actually wrote a book. And the fourth reason is the book, the whole 106 chapters of the first book of Enoch had lots of discrepancies, that is, lots of differences from what we know as the Old Testament. There is no sequential writing in what we call the book of Enoch. When you place all these things together, you probably see that this book cannot be claimed to be genuine or inspired by God. So there might have been prophecies of Enoch circulating as oral tradition, but there was nothing like the book of Enoch. And when you look at the content of this book was probably assumed to have been written during the Silent Age. That's the period between Malachi and Matthew. So someone wrote the book and gave it a false authorship that it was Enoch who wrote the book. And the other part of the New Testament, he mentioned Gospel of Thomas, other Gospels also that were not canonized. There were 4 major criteria that was used in determining if a certain scripture should be canonized in the New Testament. And the first one is the book must have apostolic origin. That is, it must be written by one of the early apostles, or must have been used or referenced or endorsed by any of the early apostles. And the second criterion is that the writer must have a sound character and must be upright morally. And the third point is that the book must have been written before the date of the last apostle, and that is Apostle John, between AD 97 and AD 100. If the book was not in circulation before AD 100, then they felt it's not supposed to be canonized as part of the New Testament. And the fourth criterion is that the book must be consistent with the central theme of the Bible. And what is the central theme of the Bible? The story of Christ. The Old Testament is the prophecy about Jesus Christ, and the New Testament is the fulfillment of the prophecy. So if any book doesn't have its central theme on Christ and the gospel, then that book is not supposed to be canonized as part of the New Testament. And when you read the Bible, there are 4 major themes in the Bible. The first theme is the creation, the fall of man, which is the second one. The third one is redemption. From Genesis 12 even to the gospel is the story of redemption. And the last one, which happens to be the book of Revelation, is restoration of man to its previous state. So if any book is not following this pedestal, it's not worthy to be canonized as part of the New Testament.